A Pennsylvania school board member has been forced to step down from her job after an online post that she made got her in trouble. So, this is an example of right wing cancel culture in action. Okay. Now, what happened? Well, you had Homer Center School District Board member Misty Hunt posting a message on social media. Now, the message in question simply said, "One down, hundreds to go." Uh oh. Now, she happened to have posted that message the same day that Charlie Kirk had been murdered. So there were people out there who believed that she was celebrating his death, and they decided to complain to the school board. That school board ended up launching an investigation into her statements. Now, what happened? Well, according to Hunt, she had meant for that initial online post to be accompanied by a video of milkweed seed pods flying out of her car window. So she's throwing them out the window. Okay. One down, hundreds to go. Now, what went wrong? Apparently, her iPhone, had failed to attach that video. So now, obviously, she was on the road at the time, and maybe the internet wasn't exactly the most, I don't know, it wasn't exactly the best reception, I guess, for her phone. And the result of that video not loading caused a freak out. Complete and total outrage. Okay. Social media freak out. Now, Hunt wrote in a subsequent social media post, quote, "I've always been outspoken and I own my BS. I'm a big fan of free speech and I enact it quite often. But let me tell you, this is not one of those times. Okay. This is not one of those times where my BS, where I was, going on my BS. Okay. She said it was only about butterflies and creating a space for those butterflies. The end. Gardening is my life, and I tried to share it with all of you. I won't be making that mistake again." Yikes. She added, "My heart goes out to the Kirk family. No one should grow up without a parent. So for the gross misunderstanding, I apologize to all of you." So now, could I see something like this happening? Absolutely. Yeah. Uh, and look, it doesn't even have to be, oh, my video didn't attach, right? You could just post something completely unrelated to the political news of the day, and people will jump up your ass over it. Okay. That's social media for you. And so, yeah, that happens all the time. Maybe they're thinking about you talking about something else, or for example, a post that's not related to the current president of the United States. That people will think, "Oh, why are you talking about Donald Trump like that? President of the United States. You need to have some respect for the office." It's like, dude, I'm not talking about him. Okay. This is one of the age-old issues with social media. Okay. Uh, and look, to be fair, because of what happened with Charlie Kirk, people have been extra sensitive online. I get that. There was a man that was murdered. Tensions are high. Political violence. The threat of political violence. I get all that. Now, what didn't help is the president and his allies throwing gas on the fire, immediately blaming the left before we even knew anything. A transgender person, right? It must have been a transgender leftist. You don't even know who did it. You don't even have a suspect in custody. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Look, we know now that the 22-year-old alleged shooter wasn't really affiliated with any political party or political movement, not member of the DSA, not a registered Republican, didn't donate to Donald Trump, didn't work with the DSA, didn't work with anyone, really. Like a lot of mass shooters, turns out that his political stances are kind of incoherent from what we know right now. Now, there is one thing that could be described as a motive, and that it's basically when he was said he was tired of Charlie Kirk spreading hate. Okay. Spreading hate about who? I don't know. I mean, whatever group, right? Now, I do know for sure that shooting somebody does not solve hate. obviously. It usually tends to make things worse, especially for out groups like transgender people. But anyway, that said, Hunt, after, or I should say, despite her explanation, still got a lot of backlash here and even some support. So there you go. But that wasn't enough to save her position on the school board. She was ultimately removed from the negotiations committee, according to a report in The Guardian. After she was removed from there, she decided to step down from her duties for the immediate future. This appears to be an example of cancel culture being waged by the far right in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder. And she's not the only one. Dozens of people lost their jobs or have been suspended or disciplined over social media posts about Charlie Kirk and his death. Look, I mean, they got Jimmy Kimmel, but Jimmy Kimmel now back, okay, because there was a huge backlash over that. A lot of people canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions and saying, "Hey, we believe in free speech." What Jimmy Kimmel said wasn't really all that bad, and so put him back, and they did. They relented to that pressure. It's kind of like boycotts do actually work. I know, crazy, right? Yeah, maybe that's one of the reasons they don't want people to boycott Israel. Interesting. Now, that said, there are people that lost their jobs after posting about Charlie Kirk. For example, the U.S. Secret Service had placed an employee on leave earlier this month after writing in a Facebook post that Charlie Kirk had, quote, spewed hate and racism on a show. That's true. He did. That doesn't mean he deserved to get shot for it. No, of course not. Of course not. But let's be very clear. He did say a lot of terrible and controversial things. That's just a fact. And you even look up some of those things, right? And I know some people, it's not controversial at all. Him saying things about like black people not having the brain processing power to be in their jobs and only replaced, and only took the job from or took a spot from a white person. Well, if you think that's not controversial or racist, you might be racist. I'm just saying. But anyway, that said, this person added at the end of the day, you answer to God and speak things into existence. You can only circumvent karma. She doesn't leave. All right. Now there's more. There's a FEMA employee reported by Fox News that was placed on administrative leave over an Instagram post describing Kirk as the, quote, literal racist, homophobe, misogynist. Again, it's kind of true. Now, a FEMA spokesperson told The Guardian that the employee's words are revolting and unconscionable. Remember, this is not saying that, you deserved what was happening to him. No, it's just saying that this guy's was a literal racist, homophobe, misogynist, okay? But, yeah, FEMA said that the employee was immediately placed on administrative leave. We expect all public servants to uphold the highest standard of professionalism. Really? That's not what our government's doing. Our government is not at all holding up any standards of professionalism. All you have to do is just play a clip of Donald Trump talking about pretty much anything, and that shatters that whole thing. Professionalism, respect, and integrity. Where was that when he was blaming the radical left for Charlie Kirk's murder, even though, once again, we didn't even have any information or even a shooter? So, I'm just saying. But anyway, what about freedom of speech? Okay, freedom of speech. I mean, FEMA is a government agency, and the government is not supposed to punish people for saying things that the government doesn't like. What about that? Oh, you also had MSNBC, by the way, firing their own senior political analyst, Matthew Dowd, after he suggested on air that Kirk's own divisive rhetoric might have contributed to the shooting. Apparently, they didn't like that. You had Washington Post columnist Karen Adia, who was also fired over social media posts saying, for example, they were speaking out against political violence. Wait a minute. So you're speaking out against the violence, you still get fired? But also spoke about racial double standards and America's apathy towards guns, of which Charlie Kirk was killed by a gun. Not by words, but by a gun. Again, there's a lot of examples here, but basically what I'm saying here is that this is cancel culture. This is what the right claimed to be against. This is one of the big things that Charlie Kirk himself claimed to be against. Would Charlie be happy with this? With all the censorship? People being fired? I don't know. Maybe not. Look, a lot of these people claim to be for free speech, but apparently only for speech that does not hurt their feelings. Okay? They could say anything they wanted about the murder of George Floyd, by the way, but if anyone said anything bad or maybe just even quoted Charlie Kirk, then they've decided that that person should be immediately canceled. It does seem like a bit of a double standard here, doesn't it? And I know they're saying, as a result of that, oh, no, well, you don't understand. That's the left's fault. The left made this happen. You're just reaping what you sowed. Oh, well, then I guess at the end of the day, you never really did believe in free speech or having principles, and we're just crying about being called out for what's pretty bad behavior. Okay, then. Well, I guess at least we know. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.